I am a teacher. Like so many of my peers, I knew I wanted to be a teacher by the age of 5. I was going to share my love of learning with kids. I was going to show them new things. I was going to change their lives. But like the nearly 50% of teachers who quit within their first 3 years, I soon found out that helping my students reach their full potential was being obstructed by the very institution that hired me. After 28 years in the classroom, I finally gave up. Hi, I'm Lori Gabriel. I want to talk to the country about the fact that up until now, so-called education reform has had unsatisfying results. We're all aware of that, but no one seems to know why, except the people who usually take the blame, teachers. And no one seems to be alarmed that this valuable resource is fleeing the profession in droves. The best way I know how to send this message to a public who's been taught to mistrust teachers by the media is to make a documentary. I've completed the filming, and now I need your help to finish production and get it into the public eye.
Teachers are our favorite, scapegoat at the moment. Teachers unions, teachers as a category, firing these bad people, and in many ways, some of the more important conversations are not being had.
The truth is, up until now, reform measures have been prescribed by government officials and other administrative types who have zero contact with the children.
Government officials, they never meet the child. They never see the child, speak to the child, touch the child, but they make policies that do leave their fingerprints on these children.
And it cheapens the whole idea of education, because then you're not learning for the joy of reading a book anymore. You're reading to get a number pasted on your forehead, and I'm not teaching anymore in order to see a sudden glow of originality and curiosity bursting in a child's eyes. Now I'm a drill sergeant for the state.
These government officials are influenced in large part by testing and curriculum companies whose sole interest is making and selling their products. This is not what's best for our children.
12 years of being subject to multiple choice standardized testing. I wonder what that does to children's way of thinking about the world. I think what we're doing is to discourage creativity, to discourage innovation, and actually to punish the imaginative student.
Teachers know this. We're with the kids every day, but we're often shouldered with full accountability without being given any control. So many gifted, brilliant teachers have fled the profession in frustration that it has had a devastating effect on our education system. And it's only going to get worse unless control is finally placed where it belongs. Isn't it time we listen to the people who know the real reasons behind our struggling education system?
We have almost 25% of this nation's children living below the poverty line now. It's the highest child poverty rate in the industrialized world. Children cannot learn if they come to school hungry, if they're homeless, if they have inadequate health care.
Many times when we watch the commercials, when we watch TV, when we watch what else is going on, our society probably isn't really valuing learning.
There are parents who read Dr. Seuss to their children 1,000 times before they ever hit the door to kindergarten, and there are parents who don't. And so we have trustworthy partners among parents, and then we have irresponsible parents as well. But we take the children of both of those sets of parents, and we have to meet the same standard as far as achievement with both sets of kids. And when teachers say, this is hard for us to do, we're immediately lambasted as excuse makers.
The ability span was one student who came to me, and he had neurological problems, and he literally could not read the word "and" without help sounding it out. And at the far end of the spectrum, and this is a class of about 30 kids, a boy whose mother was a college professor, and he was reading at the high school level. I had no aid, and somehow I'm supposed to reach all 30 of these kids, challenge them but not overwhelm them.
There's a whole world out there of things that people could do, and what do? They get a high school administration and counselors who in effect say to them, look, there are a few good jobs in the world, such as being a lawyer, or being a doctor, or being an executive and carrying a briefcase around, or if you don't do that, you can work at McDonald's, and that's sort of your choice. We ought to be taking these youngsters that come into their teenage years and exposing them to all the ways there are out there to make a living.
This is a subject that affects everyone. It affects students and their parents. It affects teachers. It affects taxpayers who are paying for useless reforms that only make curriculum companies richer. And it affects the entire fabric of our society. Please help me spread the word by funding the completion of this film. I've already put thousands of dollars of my own money toward the effort, and I've traveled all over the country interviewing people who are trying to make a difference in our schools. Your donations will be used to complete the final edit and get this issue into the public awareness so it can finally be resolved for the futures of our kids and our country. Please donate anything you can. Every bit helps.